Thank you. I wasn't watching when he said that. I was having to be somewhere else and away from a TV and even my phone. And so I heard about it later. And, you know, look, I thought it was just part of the whole of his very defensive and unconvincing presentation. And I told someone later, boy, I'll tell you, they give us a lot of credit. 36 years ago, we started this against him. I mean, it is...
Back at Yale.
Yeah, well, even before, in high school, apparently. You know, look, I want the FBI to conduct as thorough an investigation as they possibly can within whatever restraints are imposed upon them. But I think for anyone who believes there's such a thing as a judicial temperament and that we want judges, particularly those on our highest court, to approach issues, approach plaintiffs and defendants with a sense of fairness, that there's a lot to be concerned about. Look, I watched as much of her testimony as I could. I found her very credible. You have to ask yourself, why would anybody put themselves through this if they did not believe that they had important information to convey to the Senate? She basically said that. She thought it was her civic duty. So I found her presentation, I found her willingness to say, I don't remember that, but I remember this, to be very convincing. The performance, the behavior was quite out of bounds. I don't ever remember anything like that. And you know, as somebody who has testified under difficult circumstances, I would wonder about...
You were never so emotional.
Well, look, for 11 hours you couldn't have been. There is such a thing that you seek in judges of a judicious temperament. You know, people who are able to discipline themselves, to be open to the evidence wherever it might lead, to be fair to all the litigants who are appearing before them. You know, I'm a recovering lawyer. I used to practice law, and I was in different kinds of courts. And this was quite unusual, what we saw the other day, and certainly the senators should, on both sides of the aisle, take that into account. I am certainly in the camp that says, look, we should start trying to talk to each other, listening to each other, but how do you talk to former colleagues of mine in the Senate who are Republicans who denied Judge Merrick Garland even the courtesy of meetings, let alone a hearing and a vote? The Constitution gives the responsibility to the president to nominate and to the Senate for advise and consent. When you are dealing with a political entity like the modern Republican Party that is trying to win at all costs, it's hard to know quite how to get in there to have that conversation. And I think the best thing we can do is to take back the House and the Senate in November and then start having a conversation. Right.